Studyiq IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
More than 31% of Indian population is living in urban area, but that is according to 2011 census. If we talk in the present times, it may be more than 36-37%. And the definition itself of urban areas is in question. Why? Because there are a lot of villages. In name they are villages, but they have best of the urban amenities, and they are villages which are in the peri-urban area, urban area के आसपास। जैसे दिल्ली में बहुत सारे गांव हैं और उन गांव में सारी सुविधाएं हैं जो अर्बन एरियाज में, परंतु सेंसस की डेफिनेशन के अनुसार वो गांव हैं। क्या मैक्सिमम गवर्नेंस और मिनिमम गवर्नमेंट अप्रोच भारत के अर्बन एरियाज में रहने वाले करोड़ों लोगों की जिंदगी को बेहतर बना सकती है और जिंदगियों को बचा सकती है, अर्बन एरियाज को लिविंग कंडीशंस के अनुसार सुधार सकती है क्या? ये प्रश्न उठता है बार बार whenever we talk about the woes of our urban life. आजकल मॉनसून का सीजन है एंड प्री मॉनसून शावर थोड़े दिन पहले जब बेंगलुरु में हुए तो वहां पर एक टेकी female girl of 23 years died. She got stuck under the underpass and that underpass was flooded with water. You all are welcome. Let's see what ails Bengaluru. How can we save the urban lives in India? So there was this article in Frontline where there was the argument for the governance approach. Bengaluru badly needs a new governance approach because the urban governance in Bengaluru is in shambles. Bengaluru का जिक्र आते ही तो हम IT वर्ल्ड की बात करते हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी की, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की, स्टार्टअप कल्चर की बात करते हैं, परंतु एक चीज़ और आपने भी अपने दोस्तों से सुनी होगी कि बेंगलुरु का ट्रैफिक दैट इज वन ऑफ द वेरी बैड सिम्टम ओवर देयर ऑफ ओवरग्रोथ। ये जो आपको चित्र दिखाई दे रहा है, ये दुर्भाग्यवश यहाँ इसी गाड़ी में फंस के एक यंग IT प्रोफेशनल लड़की की मृत्यु हो गई थोड़े दिन पहले। ऐसा नहीं है कि ये चीज़ों पे कोई ध्यान नहीं दिया जा रहा है। जो लोकायुक्त हैं बेंगलुरु के, उन्होंने इस पे सो मोटो कॉग्निजेंस लिया और ऑर्डर किया IG पुलिस को कि इन्वेस्टिगेशन करिए 8 ऑफिशियल्स जो कि बृहत बेंगलुरु महानगर पालिका के हैं और जिम्मेदारी रखते हैं अर्बन गवर्नेंस में चीज़ों को सुधार लाने के लिए। साथ में लोकायुक्त का ये भी एक आर्ग्यूमेंट है कि हर भारत के सिटीजन्स को राइट टू लाइफ है और क्वालिटी से जीने का आर्टिकल 21 में अधिकार है। साथ में ऑब्लिगेशन है जो कि ऑफिसर्स हैं और वार्ड मेंबर्स हैं और चुने हुए पदाधिकारी हैं इन अर्बन बॉडीज, दैट दे हैव ऑब्लिगेशन ऑफ providing civic amenities. So state has to provide it, and obviously the elected people and also the bureaucracy over there has this duty. Apart from that, so municipalities have lot of duties under the constitution also. You all must be knowing that 74th Amendment Act places 18 items in the list which are under the purview of urban bodies on which laws can be made. So municipal authorities should maintain roads, footpath, bridges, culverts, parks and many other places. That is already there in the constitution. So what are the problems then? Why Bengaluru is always in news when it comes to its traffic, and it is rather infamous? So let us see. So what ails Bengaluru? So the story of Bengaluru is same as the story of other cities in India are. As I am making this lecture, there has been showers in Gurgaon and there is flood on the streets. It is like you can have small boats, paper boats, and play games over there like you must have done in childhood. So city has recklessly built and expanded. Story of all the places in urban India. ओपन स्पेसेस बहुत ही कम हो गए हैं कोर सिटी एरियाज में। जो पहले के बेंगलुरु के एरियाज थे वहां पर के ओपन सिटीज के जो स्पेसेस थे उनको टर्न कर दिया गया है इन बिल्डअप एरियाज। हाई राइज जो हाउसिंग सोसाइटी है, कमर्शियल स्ट्रक्चर्स हैं, वो आ गए हैं, पॉपअप हो गए हैं हर जगह, or in every nook and corner, in every nook and cranny of the place, that you must be seeing in your cities also. So it is a pan India story. It is a story of urban India rather only of Bengaluru, right? So horticulture farms थे, wetlands थे, और उनको परिवर्तन कर दिया गया है। और क्या आ गया है उसकी जगह? प्लास्टिसाइड नेबरहुड फॉर elite gated communities. This is another social aspect that we are seeing in our cities, where the living areas are gated. So it is always an effort to otherization, to restrict that area to a particular class. That is also one of the, if we say, architectural sociology that we are seeing in our urban areas, and that is very common. Enclaves and gated community, these are very common in India, but they are symbols of exclusion, social exclusion, because the redi wala or the daily wagers cannot come over there, strictly maintained. So according to Article 19, that we can definitely live in a choice. We have a choice to live anywhere, but definitely from sociological point of view, this is something that is cannot be appreciated. So this is the story that we see now, but there is also a history to it. So there was a mirage created in early 2000s, and the chief ministers said that they want to build this Bengaluru as a world-class city. Metropolis would be world-class. The same thing was said by Manmohan Singh ji, that he wants to build Mumbai as Shanghai. So this aping, this mimic behavior of Indian politicians or Indian bureaucracy to lead to Western civilizational aspect, Western model of development is visible. So there was this Tata Singapore Technological Park, and as it came in early 2000, also came other building areas over there, massive structures, houses, ugly form of urban structures. So ugly complexes, glass building, concrete building, aluminium took over and replaced the green cover. There was also Balandur Varthur wetlands, and these wetlands were also converted into, were not spared, and they were also converted into the build-up area. You see, these problems are not confined to only Bengaluru. If you ever have visited Kolkata, Kolkata has a lot of wetlands within the city area, and also a lot of paddy fields, and also a lot of talab. So there are places like Manik Talla, there are places like Ulta Danga, there are places in every nook and corner of Kolkata. You will see these talabs, but the story is changing. The story is changing. Wetlands are being filled by sand, and more and more construction is happening. Same thing is happening in other areas also. If you visit any of the urban areas, slowly, जैसे नॉर्थ इंडिया की अगर मैं बात करूं, हरियाणा, पंजाब, वेस्ट यूपी में जोहड़ जो होते थे वो तालाब होते थे, शहरों के किनारे तालाब होते थे, शहरों के बीच बीच जहां पर मछली पालन भी होता था, उन सबको कवर अप करके और वहां पर बिल्डअप एरिया आ रहा है. जैसे माय होम टाउन देहरादून, वहां पर अभी भी ईस्ट कैनाल रोड और वेस्ट कैनाल रोड हैं, बट दीज कैनाल्स आर नाउ कवर्ड, rather filled, not covered, filled by sand. Concretization has happened, construction has happened. There is no space for the water that comes from Mussoorie running down on the slopes of the hill, and we see a lot of flooding. That is the story of Delhi NCR, that is the story of Kolkata, Jamshedpur, Pune, Mumbai, Chennai, everywhere. That is the same story. Now, if we talk according to Constitution, 74th Amendment अर्बन गवर्नेंस में बहुत सारे अधिकार देता है म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज को और जो भी अर्बन बॉडीज हैं कि वो अपने क्षेत्र में विकास के लिए नियम कानून बना सकती हैं, और उनको टैक्सेस का, रेवेन्यूज का भी डिवोल्यूशन करा गया है और अधिकार दिए गए हैं. जैसे कि 12th शेड्यूल में है रेगुलेशन ऑफ लैंड यूज एंड कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ लैंड बिल्डिंग्स, लैंड को कैसे यूज करना है और वहां पर कहां पर प्लानिंग करके पार्क बनाने हैं, कहां पर प्लानिंग करके ओपन स्पेस छोड़नी है, कहां पर कंस्ट्रक्शन एरिया होगा, कहां पर कमर्शियल एरिया होगा. बट यू विल सी द सिचुएशन इज पैथेटिक इन मोस्ट ऑफ द सिटीज. There is no such segregation. Even if there is segregation of commercial and housing complexes, there is always some overlapping. Urban planning, including town planning भी जो क्या है म्यूनिसिपल बॉडीज की, अर्बन बॉडीज की एक आइटम है, लिस्टेड आइटम 18 आइटम्स हैं, उनमें से एक ये है. कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ रोड्स, ब्रिजेस, कल्वर्ट्स, कैनाल्स का भी देखना. पब्लिक एनिमिटी, स्ट्रीट लाइटिंग, पार्किंग स्पेस, बस स्टॉप, पब्लिक कन्वीनियंस को देखना. ये कुछ आइटम्स हैं जो कि अर्बन गवर्नेंस से रिलेटेड हैं. इफ यू विल सी द कंडीशन in any city of India, we can say definitely that is not a very good governance mechanism that we are seeing. And people are living almost life of slums, even if they are not declared slums. So how can minimum government and maximum governance approach save Indians and save urban India, their lives? Because lot of people died in the yearly basis. Be it monsoon, be it water clogging or any other aspect. Also due to traffic, a lot of people are dying slow death, right? So when it comes to public administration, we have this theories which promote collective decision making. There has been conferences, there has been research about how the people and collectiveness can lead to better governance and planning. So there was Minobrook conference. There are 3 which have happened in public administration. One in 68, another is 1988, and third one was in 208. 68, 1988, and 2008. So this conference which happened in USA talked about lot of themes that were coming as challenge to the public administration, and the main crux, some of the takeaways from this conference was that we need a collaborative governance. As you see, when I talked about the article initially in front line, it was how new governance approach can save Bengaluru. Democratic performance management. What does it mean? It means that performance management not only by bureaucracy but also including lot of other bodies. For an example, people's organization, it could be interest group, it could be the interest group, civil society, urban civil collectives, environmental bodies, social equity and justice. It is also about delivering governance to all the section of the society. Whenever we see in urban India, there is focus on posh societies where rich people live, or enclaves where bureaucrats live. You will see them to be world class. You go to any of the area of any city in India, there would be circuit house. There would be officers' colonies. You see there, everything would be well maintained. But as you come onto the periphery of the city or nearby the rivers, you will see a lot of slums over there. So this has to be taken care of. This was the takeaway from the Minobrook conference. Also, one of the takeaway from Minobrook conference was that you need to have lesser government and more governance. And from there came the idea into India, and in 2013, first time, our Prime Minister Modi ji used this in one of his speech. Now, there is another very important new public governance concept that we study in public administration. It is a governance approach, and it encompasses not just bureaucracy but also other form of the bodies, civic bodies, civil society, NGO, civic collectives, and many other type of collaborations into it. Also, this came in between in mids of 2000s. So precisely around 2006. Stephen Osborne is one of the main proponents of it, professor behind this idea, and there are many more. So collaborative, participatory and citizen engagement in decision making process. If it would be top down, like in many of the Indian cities bureaucracy is, where it is imposed on people, you will never ever have that collective decision making, collective planning. So this was one of the idea. Government alone cannot address complex societal problems. So you need to have lot of other people, common people into planning. You need to have community approach, co-governance, community policing, community traffic control, volunteerism. This is the need of the time. Even if infrastructure is coming, then also how to build that infrastructure. Because the local people have better knowledge of surrounding. They are connected with their nature, their environment. Until and unless you will not involve some local population to save a river, and it would be only the top-down approach, that river would not be saved. That is one of the examples I am giving. Participation and engagement of people, taking feedback, continuously going back to them, continuously tracking what people are seeing on the ground. So because we know in India we have paper tiger bureaucracy. Paper tiger bureaucracy. So there is also a book with the name. What is paper tiger bureaucracy? It is the bureaucracy which looks very strong on paper, but when it goes to the ground, it is nowhere visible. This happens because there are lack of check and balances. This approach both leads to minimum government and maximum governance approach. And if we do this, there could be a better governance model, and Bengaluru-like situation may not happen. So governance model for Bengaluru, some more takeaways: deep democratization and ground up administration we need, which has grounding with the realities of the ground, rather than imposed Western ideas of making Mumbai Shanghai or making Bengaluru Singapore world class. That has to be stopped. Decentralization in planning and governing metropolitan area. So though there is already the planning aspect there in 74th Amendment Act, and the planning start from the ground, but again there is bureaucratization, bureaucracy and political class, politicians which have taken over. They are dominating over there. People's participation is not as per the required level. Then Bruhut Bengaluru Mahanagar Palike elections have not happened from 2015. We all know that 5 years is a time that is, in every 5 years there need to be elections. That is there in Article 243 also of Indian Constitution. But this has not happened. Last election was scheduled to be in 2020, and the elected government, previously elected government of the previous BJP regime, somehow was pushing this idea of having elections. So now this body is without deputy mayor, without mayor and without ward members post 2020. And when you do not have elected leadership, definitely you do not have people participation. You do not have people auditing. So that is lacking over there. So this needs to be done on urgent basis. So there is another idea, that is a strong thought that we have. It may also just have, if degrowth happens, become a guiding light to Bengaluru. So what is this degrowth? So this idea of degrowth is that focusing too much on the growth model, economic aspect only, and producing beyond the consumption, beyond the sustainable level, may lead to disastrous consequences. And also there is an asymmetry in Indian context, because this growth only happens in some of the growth happens in selective areas. Selective areas. For an example, if there is a comparison in between Pune or another place in Maharashtra, let us take over Nanded, you will see lot of differences. This is a area where it comes into the area जो कि कम developed है, पिछड़ा हुआ है, lesser developed. Pune is more developed. For an example, you take example of Delhi NCR and you go 100 kilometers away into UP. You go to Rampur. You go to any area near Shamli. You will feel the difference. So this degrowth needs to happen in our urban areas. Only concentrating on already developed urban center is not sustainable, and that affects not just the infrastructure of these cities, lesser known tier 3, tier 4, tier 2 towns, but also there is large number of migration, and it puts immense pressure on the civic infrastructure and capacity of a city. So it cannot sustain. So to maintain sustainability, we need to cut out these disparities that are happening, that growth is focused only in Bengaluru. We need a degrowth, very important term. Development seen across Karnataka, disparities को हटाना, तो degrowth चाहिए हमें, particularly Bengaluru में. Do remember this, very important from public administration point of view, degrowth. Now there is a food for a thought. You see this is not a foam of some party. It is the foam that has been formed by the water of sewage water, and this is Bengaluru. So absence of sufficient open spaces, essential health, educational and other civic amenities, social service, what has happened that these services are not at all present in the peri-urban area. It means the urban area which are nearer to the boundaries of a city. This is a core area, and areas lying somewhere here where there is a transactional aspect to urban to semi-urban areas, and unending ribbon of concretized chaos. It means unplanned area develop हो गए और यहाँ पर ऐसी चीजें वहाँ पर देखने को मिल रही हैं. So this was the discussion about the urban governance in India and how come maximum governance and minimum government aspect came from the public administration into the discourse, and how come this aspect when applied to planning and managing civic bodies can help us, can help urban India, can save millions of lives, because lives those are being lost are also accidental, but the lives that are being cut short of their the optimum tenure, optimum livability is another concern. So that is all I have for you. If you have more questions, you can join me, join the Telegram channel and on public ad by Shekhar. You may ask your queries. Over here, we solve a lot of issues in terms of our material availability. I share handwritten notes, crux, PPTs, lectures, and also such more articles that come in EPW or other magazine. On that note, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Studyiq IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल.